So music is dying. You may think immediately after the statement that I am terribly mistaken. You may be satisfied with what you're hearing on the radio, on television, but how long will that really last? Every time I bring up my love for the fine arts and music, these words of criticism always follow. You don't want to be an artist. Very few people are actually successful, or you should be a doctor, or you should be a lawyer. You could do so much more. I feel like these words try to invalidate my passion, like it's good enough. Like it isn't good enough. It's really frustrating hearing these types of criticisms against something that you've loved for your entire life. Now I want you to think, how often do you use music? Probably every day, right? You probably use it so often that it's become part of the daily routine. And I bet most of you would rather be listening to Drake's new album right now than be listening to me. So if the music really is that important to us, then why is it seemingly one of the first things to just disappear from schools from budget cuts? So this bar graph shows the percentage of students in grades 8, 10, 12 who participate in the fine arts programs. As you can see, as the grade level goes up, the percentage goes down. This is likely due to students dropping the fine arts programs so that they can have more time for academics, or even their schools not even offering those classes in their higher education. A staggering 55% of American high schools don't offer any sort of theater program. Also, 96% of elementary schools don't offer any theater program either. For me, this is very upsetting. Theater and music has always played a major role in my life. Sports never really did interest me as a kid. I'd always seem to get hit in the face with the ball or trip over myself trying to go get it. But when I first joined the chorus program in my elementary school, something inside me clicked. I finally felt free to be myself and express my passion for arts and music with others. But unfortunately, not everyone gets that opportunity. A lot of people really do miss out on theater programs because their schools didn't offer it. So I've talked to my friends about their previous experiences in fine arts, and they've told me their middle school and their elementary schools didn't offer any sort of arts. They've always been interested, they never really had the opportunity to join. The reason why, there's many reasons, but one of the main reasons is Common Core. Yes, Common Core. You know, that awful thing that makes you over-explain everything, and it's just awful. So you already know what it is. It's basically an academic program set in by the government telling schools and teachers what they should teach and how they should teach it. So a lot of the school budget goes into trying to improve the academic programs, and the core part of it are core classes, so classes like math and science and literature and those types of classes. So at the end of the day, there's very little to even no budget for fine arts programs, and I'm not the only one who dislikes Common Core. In this survey in 2014, a majority of adults polled said that Common Core results in students getting little to even no time for recess, art, and music, which are the best parts of school, but I'm probably the only one that thinks that. So how we feel as students, we feel like a bunch of numbers in GPA, numbers in scores, grades, SATs, advanced classes, etc. The thing about the arts is that it can't be graded. You can't go to a play or a musical, look at a page and be like, this looks like it deserves a B. It can't. It's subjective. That's what's great about it. And I think schools have a hard time realizing that not everything has to be graded to be important. But it is actually beneficial in an academic perspective. In 2006, a man named Gunningham discovered a strong correlation between the arts and literacy. In 2005, the Rand Corporation found that the arts expands the imagination and the mind. Also, it benefits the viewer. Studies have shown that seeing live plays helps the viewer understand the characters more, enhance literacy and tolerance, and gain empathy. So all these studies show that theater is more than just a form of entertainment. In my experiences, I've always understood the live version of a story more than I've seen the book or seen the movie. For example, I'm sure a lot of you have seen The Wizard of Oz live as a field trip, which is one of my all-time favorite musicals, and if you have seen it, you'll understand it's a completely different experience from reading the book or even watching the movie. Not only is it beneficial academically, but it's also beneficial socially and mentally. If you're a performer, you'll understand that performing relieves a lot of stress. It gets your mind off of school and off of all the pressures and lets you focus on something else for a while. Also, after school, it gives you something to look forward to. So you're sitting in your math class, and just like gotta get through this, and then I'll have rehearsal after this. And this keeps you motivated in school because you have to keep up your schoolwork to be able to have time after school to do performing arts. So all in all, the artistic effects shown by this infographic. So as you can see, 79.2% of students with arts education receives A's and B's on a report card. So not only are we entertaining you, but we're also pretty smart. While only 64.2% of students without art education get those grades. Also, we do help nationally and as a society. So 80% of artists vote compared to only 60% of the general population. Also, $166.2 billion is generated by not-for-profit culture industry. Also, 5.7 million jobs are created. So all in all, this is how it helps. Drama helps with social skills, emotional awareness, and story comprehension. Music helps with math skills, reading skills, and it boosts SAT scores. Dance helps increase social tolerance, creativity, and self-esteem. And multi-arts, all these combined, helps with reading skills, math skills, and higher order thinking. So you may be thinking, what can I do to help this cause? Well, I know not all of us are performers, and maybe you are the stellar athlete, but in the same way that you would want someone to go to one of your games, us theater people also want you to show up to our performances and support us. So, for example, you could go to a local community theater in Victoria Gardens. The Lewis Family Playhouse does productions every once in a while. And you could also go to high schools. Shout out to Michael and the Into the Woods is great. And yeah, so please go out and support our arts programs. Thank you very much for listening.